What is happening, everybody? We are back for another edition of 0 to 100,000. And this one's special because we got someone who's running out the gate, and it's not just him. It's also his son, right? Evan's your son right behind you?
No, he's just my partner.
Man, Evan's crushing it too. So I'm excited to have both of y'all on there. Evan's pumped. I can see him back there. So man, the first thing I like to do here is, tell everybody your story, like what's happened for you and a little bit of your journey coming into real estate and what happened after you came in.
All right, super. So I got into real estate back in almost 30 years ago now, in '93. But not on the agent side. I came in as a residential construction worker. Started building pretty quick within about a year and a half of being in the industry. I started building on my own. Got into investment properties. Ran that through '07, '08 when everything crashed. And so that was my real estate background. Had about 15 years there of just full-time real estate development, construction, investing. Then got out of it until 2020 is when I decided, actually when I got back into real estate, went back into investment properties. And then at the end of 20, decided to start working on getting my license to become an agent. So I got licensed February of 21. And went, I didn't do a lot of research in terms of the industry as to what the different models were. I'd been around real estate, so I just thought everybody got a license, joined a brokerage, and started selling houses. So that's what I did. I just joined the local independent brokerage that I knew well and trusted, which was not a bad move. But like I said, I did no research about the industry. So joined them, worked for a little while. With them, they were outside of my new market. I had moved in 2020. Like I said, when I got in 2020, when I jumped back into some real estate, that was because we bought a lot over on Lake Hartwell, went to buy a lot as a vacation rental, ended up moving over there, renting out our previous home. So I was in a totally new market in the middle of COVID, when you couldn't socialize and get to know anybody. And so that's the environment I came into getting my license. Didn't know anyone in my market. My only contacts were through my son, who was a junior in high school, through his athletic programs. Was really my only way of interacting with the public at that time. So that's kind of how I started.
Awesome, man. And what I think what a little bit I do know about your journey, I know that it's going to really hit. So like, what has it been like here for the last year and 3 months or wherever we're at?
So it's been different throughout that cycle. Obviously, as a lot of people know, and based on your show, obviously a lot of folks watch this may be new agents, just starting out at zero. And so those first couple months, I was in a daze because they're just, you come into this thinking, hey, there's going to be a lot of resources. There's going to be a lot of, guidance from your broker. There's going to be a lot of support, just anything you need is going to be available. And that wasn't the case. I asked my broker, okay, now what I do? And his answer was, go shake hands and kiss babies. And that was, that was about the extent of it, And then once a month we had a 1 hour office meeting where, 20 minutes of that was eating donuts and drinking coffee, and 15 or 20 minutes was a vendor, a sponsor, a mortgage company or home inspection company giving us a little presentation, and then 5 minutes of compliance or something, and that was the extent of our training. So those first 3 or 4 months, it was kind of feeling around in the dark.
Yep.
But then started getting a little traction with some activity, and then started making some money, and started looking at the different models. That's when I looked at the different models. So I changed brokerages 3 times in my first year.
Wow.
Which is one thing I would say to people, don't feel like you're stuck. We are free agents. We're contractors. We're independent contractors. If the model you're in is not working, look for a different model. Now, don't expect the model to fix your problems. If the problem's you, you know, jumping ship's not going to fix that. But definitely don't be afraid to look around and learn and explore different models.
Heck yeah, man. And I think we'll tie that back in later, but I'm real curious, like you, because it's so fresh for you. And you've also got Evan back there that I know is a rock star. So this show's geared around trying to help people to understand how they can get past that six-figure mark as fast as possible. So knowing what you've learned in the last 15 months, like if we could bring you back to day one, what would you do to get from 0 to 100,000 as fast as possible?
So the first thing is to, again, recognize that this is a business. It's not a job. You're not going to punch in and then somebody tell you what to do, and give you a game plan. You've got to build your own plan, and you've got to go to work every day. I came right before getting my license. I sold cars for a year, and one of the coaches in that business, one of his favorite sayings was "Go to work to work." Because in the car industry, they'll go to work they'll be there for 10 hours. And if they work 2 hours of that time, they make a decent living. And a lot of people are happy with that. So the other 8 hours they're playing on their phones or, they're goofing off. But if you go to work you're there for 10 hours, you might as well work that 10 hours. You work that 10 hours, you're going to make a lot of money. And the same thing's in real estate. If you just wait until the phone rings to start working, you're not going to you're not going to get very far. But you got to get up and work every day, realizing that it is a business. You've got to build it. So the first thing is just that mindset, being positive, recognizing that there is a lot of opportunity out there. You just got to go get it. We're not in a scarcity. We're selling more houses every day. Every year we're selling more houses than we sold the year before. So there's plenty of work out there. You've got to go get it. So the first thing's mindset. Get up every day, work. If there's nothing, if you don't have a client to work with, find something to learn, find another agent to talk to, look at a different strategy. Learning in those first days, there's nothing else to do. So spend your time learning, I guess, would be the best advice right off the bat.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So I honestly, like, it's so wise to focus on mindset because that's where we get crippled and that's where a lot of the problems come from. And like I want to get a little granular on the learning part, right? Because a lot of people are like that can be general. Like, what are some of the key things that people can focus on? Like, where can they go? What can they follow? What can they do in order to model success it's already there?
So, and that's one of the challenges. So I think we all know that once even during the licensing process, you just start getting bombarded by 1,000 different people who say, we've got the system, we've got the system, we've got the system. So it is a very big challenge to narrow down who am I going to listen to. And again, some of that's going to go back to, I think we'll tie in a little while. Some of that's going to go back to who you're tied in with, who your organization is. But in general, there are a lot of great resources. A lot of them are free. Personally, just being open and honest, and I don't know, I don't ask a lot of questions about what other people think about what, but Tom Ferry's been one I've learned a lot from. A lot of Tom's free stuff. He's got a ton of podcasts, and there's a lot of valuable information in there. A lot of things just like what you're doing here, where he just interviews other successful people, and you get to hear what other agents are doing. So that's been I've enjoyed that one. Again, Coach Michael Burt, of course, met him after coming to EXP, but he's been phenomenal. He does a lot on YouTube. Again, a lot of free stuff out there from him. Take advantage of any and all continuing eds that are free for sure, but don't think. Again, it's a business. You got to invest some money, so don't think that everything's going to come for free.
Yep.
If you don't have the willingness to invest in your business, you can't expect a whole lot of return out of it. So you're going to have to go out and you are going to have to pay for some education. You know, it's really cheap to get a real estate license. It's $1,000 in Georgia, basically
Yep.
start to finish to have a license, and yet people want to expect to make $100,000. Well, you know, people go and spend 50, 60, $100,000 on a college education and don't come out making $100,000 a year. So how do we expect to do that with $1,000 investment? So we've got to go out and find those resources. I mean, I wish I could tell you this is the educational resource to use, but we're all different. We all learn different. So the biggest thing is just look at a lot of them and then figure out what you connect with and what you can plug into and what will keep you energized, and then get more and more of that.
Yeah, and I think a key in there is like you hit it, right? Like this, we study the successful, and they're all seeking, and it's constant, right? Like we're around people that are here for 20 years, 30 years, they're still seeking. And you hit YouTube, which is like you can do anything from YouTube. That is an
Right.
incredible resource for everything. But I think the other thing that people should keep their temperature on is how obsessive are they about it? Like how passionate are they about it as they start to learn? Like if they're watching a Tom Ferry video where he's breaking down a strategy to generate listings for free and they're getting bored, I mean, that might be a tell, right? Like if you're getting bored as you're getting educated on how to do this in a successful way, that's something to keep
Oh,
in, alive inside.
right, exactly right. I mean, and that's again back to that mindset. We've all got to recognize it's our responsibility. You know, again, it's nobody's going to hand it to you. It's not the industry's responsibility. It's not your broker. It's not your team leader if you're on a team. Um, you know, it's your responsibility. It's your business.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. You care if I get Evan to tune in a little bit? I don't know if we'll be able to
Yeah,
hear him, but
if he will, I'm terrible with technology, so let me try to get him there.
this is
Here, you
perfect
take
because we got two people that sprinted to 100,000. What's going on, Evan?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
A little power nap there, so I'm feeling a little better.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. So, I think you kind of got the basis of the show, but basically if you were talking to me and I was a brand new agent coming in with you being through this so fast, what would you tell me on how to get from 0 to 100,000 as fast as possible?
I would definitely, find you a mentor. I mean, Travis helped me out a lot. There's a big learning curve that he's cut down on for me. Just, day-to-day stuff that you wouldn't know anyway from just experience. And there's the only way to lock that experience is go to somebody who's already got it. Plug into, there's Facebook groups online. I mean, you simply type in a few questions. There's a million people out there who've been doing the same thing as you. They'll get back to you in an instant. So stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. So how you feeling in real estate coming up on a year?
It's going good. We're busy. I'll tell you that. It's been 70, 80-hour weeks. We got a lot of transactions we're closing. We're pulled in every direction, I feel like.
Yeah, you'll get through that part. That's you're having the fun though. Like you're like right now.
Oh,
Like
yeah. I love it. It's a grind. It is. It's a grind. I love every hour of it. We meet a lot of new people. It's definitely an interesting job to be in.
you run into some situations, don't you?
You do. I'll tell you, you learn every day. There's through failure for sure. But I mean, it is. It's a wonderful thing. You get a lot of freedom. Maybe not as much time freedom sometimes as you like, but it's fun. We travel a good bit now. We're heading to Nashville. Just got back from South Georgia the other day. It's definitely an interesting job.
Heck yeah, man. And we talked a little bit before the show, but are you excited? Have you studied Coach Bird at all, or is this your first go?
No, this will be. I'm trying to think. I think it's my third time coming up. Yeah, this is my third time coming up. He's a smart guy. I mean, like I said, people like him, they give back a lot, so you got to plug in stuff like that. Just make sure you're maintaining and listening as much as you can and soaking up all the knowledge he's given.
Heck yeah, man. And just for everybody listening, we're talking about YouTube. That's a good dude to go tune into. Coach Burt on YouTube. He puts, I mean, it's every morning. He gets out of the gym and he puts his stuff up there, and he definitely knows what's going on. He knows how to help you build your business, get your mind right. That's for sure. Awesome, man. Well, man, I want to ask Travis one more question before I let him go, but dude, keep crushing it, man. Like, keep running.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So one thing real quick to hit on there that Evan mentioned is, like Evan said, we're busy. It's been me and him since 1st of October, but now we've started building a team. We've started adding on some more agents and some support. My wife came on board 1st of April. So part of that 0 to 100,000 is realizing you need more than yourself. There's more than you can do on your own, and you've got to spend your time where you're great at. Evan's got the natural gift of gab. I mean, he's a 19-year-old kid that can absolutely talk to anybody in any environment. We're going into the room tomorrow night with a billionaire, and I'm sure Evan will take up his fair share of the time.
I better walk out with his number. Say
yeah.
that.
We've been in the room. We've been out to Phoenix with Fred and Kevin. We've been to Curtis's event. We've been in several rooms with billionaires since Evan's been with us, and again, he gets his fair share of FaceTime with them. So that's what he needs to be doing. Evan doesn't need to be spending a lot of time typing up contracts and entering stuff into SkySlope and things like that. So it's learning what your strengths are and then delegating that out to delegating the other stuff out so that you can do the work that makes the money. So
Yeah, I love that too. And just to add to that, a lot of people I don't think realize this, but there are dozens of companies out there that will manage your transactions and get paid out of the closing. Take that away. Like that's $10 an hour work that you can just pass along. Meanwhile, I don't know. It's always hard to calculate what the value of your time is on the phone and in appointments, but it's more than $10 an hour.
Yeah, I mean it is. And when you're first starting out, sometimes you've got to do all parts of it. But once you start building momentum and generating the revenue, you definitely can monitor. I mean, you can break it down. I was in a mastermind out at EXPCon last year where there were a couple of agents that did have it broke down to, they're on a 40-hour work week. They're $1,400 an hour. That's what they're generating. And so if they're doing, like you say, $10, $12 an hour work, then they're backing up. So.
Yeah, I love that. That's a fun rabbit hole to jump down. I always love jumping down that rabbit hole and figuring out like what are you consuming with your time. And yeah, man, dude. So is there anything I want to ask you one more question, but before I do, like, is there anything else you want to add to these? And you're right. This show is really geared on helping people, whether they're stuck, right? Like some people have been in this for a year, 2 years, and they're kind of stuck. And then there's the other group that maybe they're thinking about it, or maybe they already are. And that's why I put the show together, give them a free resource on how they get there and just content. But is there something you want to leave them on?
I would just say again, recognize that it's up to you, and recognize that it is possible. Okay, it's very much possible. This isn't. We're not trying to sell you anything by telling you, hey, we can get you to 100,000. I got there. I didn't know I could get there. I asked that first broker, hey, what can I expect? And he said, well, you'll probably make 60 your first year, and 2 or 3 years you'll make 100. So I didn't know what to expect. But I'm not just, we're not trying to sell you anything. We're just letting you know it is possible. So that's the first thing. Believe it's possible. Know it's up to you, and then look for the resources. Plug in deeper. Again, this show obviously we moved quick. I know we haven't gone real deep, but figure out how to go deeper. Give James a call, give me a call, give somebody a call, and figure out how to spend more time with the people that are doing it, because you can't get it all from a show like this. You've got to go deeper with people and put that work in. So
I love it, man. And I think this particular question I ask for all of our partners that come in, anybody that is here and collaborative here at EXP. What were some of the biggest problems that you experienced? Because you actually had a couple of brokerages before, and what did EXP do to solve those problems once you came over?
So, I mean, the number one thing was just what we've hit on a few times here this morning are the resources. My first two brokers were both independents. My first one was had 15 or 16 agents, but the broker himself was the top selling agent in that MLS, which covered 3 counties. So his time was spent selling real estate.
Yep.
Did he answer his phone when I called? Yes. Did he answer my questions when I had problems? Yes. But that was the limit of it.
Yep.
The limit was we'll solve a problem when the problem comes up, not be proactive and give you the knowledge ahead of time. When I changed brokers, I went to a brokerage where it was just the broker, 50-year established brokerage, very well known in the market. Again, she's a top producer in the market herself.
Yep.
But absolutely no resources for agents and really no desire to develop agents.
Yep.
So coming to EXP, it's like going from trying to get water out of a water hose, and then all of a sudden you got a fire hydrant that's just so it is a problem solver, but it's also a problem creator, because now all of a sudden you've got unlimited resources coming at you, and again you've got to narrow down what resources to try to plug into, because again you can't plug into every show, every training session all day every day, but you got to pick and choose. So resources was one of the number one things that EXP provided. The other thing is just again, recognizing that there are different models out there from an income basis.
Yep.
I didn't know there was a cap. I didn't know a cap existed. I capped 3 times in my first year, based on more than that. I mean, I paid my first broker over $25,000 in commission. I paid my second broker over $25,000 in commission. Luckily now I've only paid EXP $16,000 in commission, and on Monday they're going to give all that back to me. So,
yeah.
So from an income perspective, obviously that makes a difference. But the biggest problem that I didn't come over for that. I came over for the access to those resources, the support. Again, obviously our brokerage model is very different. Our brokers, especially here in Georgia, we've got four managing brokers, and they're there for us. I sent a message to a broker yesterday and immediately got, he didn't just text back, he immediately called me and said, okay, here's, so they're there to support our business, we're not here to support their business. And that's a huge thing.
Last thing that it just triggered there was, what was something you didn't expect that came up once you came over
to EXP?
Yeah.
So, and this is not necessarily that I didn't expect. So again, I'm 50 years old, and again, just started this career. I've built several businesses through my life, and I had reached, again, we downsized in 2020, went from 3,500 square feet down to 800 square feet home. My wife and I pretty much decided we were done in terms of trying to build something. And we were just happy, if I made $100,000 a year, or if we made $100,000 combined, we were, that was enough, and we were happy there. And so actually, and when I joined EXP, I told my sponsor, Eric Kelly out in Phoenix, I said, look, I'm not going to be jet setting around the country. I'm not interested in being in a bunch of masterminds. I'm not interested in building. I'm just here to sell real estate. So what I didn't expect was to, I've been to Phoenix twice now, been to Vegas, been to Nashville, like Evan said, we've been to Nashville now 3 or 4 times. We'll be in Orlando in June. So I didn't expect to build anything again, just to be honest. I expected just to continue being just a real estate agent. We've now got 7 people on our team. We added a new agent yesterday that just got licensed. My son will graduate 2 weeks from today, and he'll have his license as soon as he graduates. He's joining the team. So we are building a team. We're building a network. That was what I didn't expect to do.
What changed? What shifted, do you think?
So
You're so laughing.
if you know Coach, if you know Coach Burt, you know his concept of pray drive,
Yep.
and really that's probably what it was. When I went, I did not plan to go to EXPCon. In fact, I booked a room and got a ticket, bought a ticket from another person the week before EXPCon, because Eric kept saying, "Hey, you ought to come out," and Jay had set up Coach Burt to come to EXPCon the night before everything got started. I went there. First time I'd heard of him, didn't know anything about him, and that's when he introduced this concept of pray drive to me. And I left that room crying, basically, just because I recognized that he had just reactivated a pray drive that again I had let die, which was not necessarily a bad thing that I'd let it die again.
Yep.
It's just where we were. But he reactivated that in a way that, only he can in a lot of instances. But so that's probably the single moment where I can say that mindset changed. And I did come back with the desire to do as much as I can rather than do just enough. And then of course, like I said, Evan had came on just before that. And he's an extremely hungry 19-year-old kid, very coachable. Like I said, my son's 18. He'll be getting his license. So I'm doing it now for them. See what we can.
I'll tell you what really happened. He just didn't want an 18-year-old kicking his ass in Realty.
Okay. And it hasn't happened. So let's just be clear that
I like
has
it.
not
I
happened.
like it. Oh, you got to set the pace.
Well, he knows who the boss is.
Awesome, man. I've had a lot of fun here today, and I know that a lot of people will get a lot out of this because you've gone. I mean, it's a little over a year's time. You've built your business, but you've been able to share your vision, and other people are following your vision. And I think that is so incredible. And I want you to know that that's something where you're moving in the right direction. You're impacting a lot of lives that they can see it that fast. It's awesome.
Well, and we're working daily. That's my primary focus now, is working daily to try to make sure I continue to figure out how to transfer that knowledge and how to grow my knowledge and then transfer that knowledge. So that's my primary focus now. So
I love it, man. I love it. I love you being here. I love that you're crushing it. Thank you.
Hey, super glad to meet you. You going to be in Orlando?
I will.
All right, let's hook up down there. Like to meet you.
Let's do it, man.
All right. Thanks, James. Have a great one.
Bye, y'all. Drive safe.
Thanks.